Thanks for tuning in to your daily dose of quick real estate updates, local housing trends, and market data, plus tips, tools, and strategies to help you buy, rent, or invest with confidence. You're now getting ready with RealiCare Reports, powered by the innovation team, Cami and Rex. Now go grab your favorite morning breakfast, coffee or tea, and let's enjoy today's episode.
Welcome to the deep dive. So June is here, and we're jumping into something really central for a lot of households across the country, National Homeownership Month.
That's right.
And, it's not just a label on the calendar. It feels like a good moment to really unpack what homeownership means, not just buying a house, but, everything else it represents.
Exactly. And it's something groups like Florida Realtors and realtors all over the U.S. really champion. It's about highlighting how important owning a home is, not just for families, but for communities, the local economy, even the whole country's economic health. And it's got some history now. 2025 makes it 23 years since it became a full month-long thing.
23 years, wow, okay. So our mission for you today, listening in, is to kind of journey through where this idea came from, look at the real, solid benefits.
The tangible stuff.
Exact, the tangible stuff, and see where things stand right now with homeownership. We really want to help you get why this idea is still such a big deal in the American experience, why it's, more than just walls and a roof. So let's start right there. This whole American dream of owning a home. We hear it all the time.
They do.
But what really makes it so significant, beyond just having your own place, what are the deeper things going on?
That's a great way to put it, because it is deeper. Tim Weisshire, who's the 2025 president for Florida Realtors, said it really well. He said, owning a home is, and I'm quoting here, more than putting a roof over your family's head.
Okay.
It's tied into that American dream idea because, for most people, it's the single biggest financial move they ever make.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But it's more than just the dollars and cents. For generations, it's been seen as a way to really connect with your community, build roots.
Right.
And it's been a pathway, into the middle class. And maybe most importantly, it gives people the ability to pass down wealth to their kids. That generational aspect is huge.
That idea of a pathway and passing down wealth, that really hits home. It sounds like it sets up the next generation. Almost.
It can, yeah. That's a big part of the thinking.
So it makes me wonder, when did we start putting this national spotlight on it? Was it always a whole month dedicated to home ownership?
No, not always. It actually started out smaller. Back in 1995, it was just a week-long recognition.
Oh, just a week initially.
Yeah. It wasn't until June 2002, under President George W. Bush, that it was officially proclaimed to last the whole month.
Okay, 2000.
So that full month celebration we see now, that really kicked off then. Just over 2 decades ago.
Got it. Okay, so let's shift gears a little and really unpack the financial side, the concrete benefits. Because for a lot of folks, this is, the bottom line.
Right.
What's the actual measurable difference owning a home makes to someone's personal wealth? How does that happen?
Okay, yeah, this is where the numbers get pretty stark. There's data from the Aspen Institute's Financial Security Program that lays it out. In 2024, the average net worth for a homeowner was $400,000.
$400,000. Okay.
Now compare that to the average net worth for a renter in that same year. It was just $10,400.
Wow. Hold on. $400,000 versus $10,400.
Yeah.
That's a massive gap. So basically, a homeowner's net worth is something like 40 times higher than a renter's.
About 40 times, yes.
Yeah.
It's a really significant difference.
Okay, but can you break that down a bit? How does owning a home actively build that kind of wealth? Is it just the house going up in value, or?
That's part of it, definitely.
Yeah.
Property appreciation is, a major factor over the long term. Your home's value generally goes up.
Right.
But it's also about building equity. Think about it. Every mortgage payment you make, some of that money goes towards paying down the actual loan principal.
Okay, yeah.
So you're essentially converting what would have been rent money into an investment in your own asset. Wow. You own a bigger piece of it each month.
Right, instead of it just disappearing.
Exactly. Plus, once you have some equity built up, homeowners can sometimes tap into that. Home equity lines of credit for things like paying for college, maybe starting a small business, or just having it there as a financial cushion. It sort of creates this reinforcing cycle of building wealth that you just don't get with renting.
That makes a lot more sense. It's not just waiting for the market. It's an active thing you're doing each month.
Precisely. It's an active process over time. That's really key.
Okay, so Given these really profound long-term benefits, what's the picture like right now? What are the latest homeownership rates telling us? Nationally and maybe specifically here in Florida.
Sure. So if we look at the U.S. Census Bureau numbers for the first quarter of 2025,
Okay.
the overall U.S. homeownership rate was sitting at 65.1%.
65.1% nationwide.
Right. Now, for Florida specifically, the rate was actually a bit higher. It came in at 68.2%.
Higher than the national average then.
Yep. And just for context, same time last year, it was a little higher still at 69.7% here in Florida.
Okay, so a slight dip from last year, but still strong and above the U.S. average.
Exactly. It shows there's still, a really solid interest in owning a home across the state.
That's a good snapshot. Thank you. So let's say this conversation has got someone listening thinking, okay, maybe this is something I want to explore.
Mm-hmm.
If they're interested in pursuing homeownership, where can they go? Where can you find reliable help and just, more information?
Great question.
Yeah.
There are definitely some excellent resources out there. Florida Realtors itself is a great place to start. They offer materials and support.
Okay.
The National Association of Realtors, NIR, they also have a ton of info. They've got a specific webpage just for Homeownership Month resources.
NAR, got it.
And don't forget the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge resource.
HUD, right.
Yeah, they offer assistance, information on different housing policies and programs, even counseling services. You can find all that on their website. So
Yeah.
plenty of places to begin looking.
That's really helpful. Florida Realtors, NAR, HUD, good starting points.
Definitely.
Well, this has been a really insightful look into homeownership. It feels much clearer now how it's, so much more than just owning property. It really is a cornerstone, isn't it? Offering these deep financial, social, and even generational advantages.
It absolutely is. And, it really leaves you with something to think about.
Oh.
Yeah. This raises, I think, an important question for you listening at home. When you hear about that huge difference in average net worth, homeowners versus renters, that 40 times factor we talked about.
Right, that 40 times number.
How does knowing that maybe shape how you think about your own financial planning or about community building or even just the whole idea of generational wealth for yourself or for future generations? The powerful statistic kind of pushes us to consider, how access to owning a home really impacts not just individuals, but society as a whole. Something to reflect on.
Well, that wraps up today's episode of RealiCare Reports, where real estate meets real life. For more updates, tools, and insights that will help you buy, rent, or invest with confidence, be sure to follow, subscribe, stay connected, stay informed, and stay ready. Until next time.